Okay, welcome to another episode of SaaS TV. I'm here with Raffi Krikorian, the Director of Engineering at Twitter. If you use Twitter at all, you've probably seen he tweets as Raffi, so you may already have heard of him. And I thought he'd be in a good position to comment on a couple of things really relevant to the course so far. One of them is there was a meme a couple of years ago that Rails was the original framework that was used at Twitter, and Rails doesn't scale, and therefore it got discarded. So what's the real story? What really happened there?
For us, it's a bunch of things. So, and a lot of it is historic in a lot of different ways. So for us, Rails, we find scales really well for smaller teams. So right now, at least, Twitter is a 900-person company. About half of us are software engineers. Having that many people touching a single Rails code base becomes really problematic in different ways. One, it just becomes really hard to understand what any particular line of code does. Especially in our world, we have caches and databases and different services sometimes behind it. Every single line of code has crazy number of side effects that you just don't really understand what it's doing. And also things like duck typing, things like method missing, those kind of things also make it really hard for just a standard programmer to really understand what any line of code is doing. So on one hand, the development model we think of Rails doesn't really scale well to the size that we're at. On the other hand, it's not Rails per se that we have a problem with, it's the Ruby VM that we had problems with. The Ruby VM is just not, for us anyway, not necessarily for everyone, for us doesn't scale to what we call server workloads. For us, we have a large number of I/O, we have a large number of concurrent requests, and our garbage collection profiles in such a way that we sort of we create a large amount of objects and we dump them on the floor once the request is done. The Ruby VM just doesn't do that for us well. The Ruby VM is a scripting VM, or at least it was designed to be a scripting VM. Whereas for us, the Java VM at least is much more fine-tuned to those kind of server workloads. So it's a two-pronged approach. One, we don't think it's scalable for us as a large development organization to work in a single monolithic code base. And two, we have more faith in the Java VM. It's one of the oldest and most battle-tested VMs.
It's been around the block.
Yeah.
Now, I also have it on unofficial authority that Twitter's in the process of going from a monolithic, very complicated service to a whole bunch of smaller services in a service-oriented architecture internally. Now, to the extent that that's true, which I guess you can confirm or deny, would that make a difference in terms of having smaller teams for which Rails would normally work better?
Sure. So yes and no. Yeah, it's definitely true. We're in the process of decomposing our app. We have one single app, or had one single app at Twitter that we call the monorail. It's the monolithic Ruby code base. And all the business logic, everything from the model view and controller, all smooshed into one place within the Twitter code base. So yes, we're in the process of trying to extract it out. So for example, one of the first things we did is we pulled the social graph logic out of the monolith and created the social graph service. Now we're in the process of pulling timelines out, users out, everything as a server out of this code base, and then interlinking them. So it would have maybe helped if we thought about that first. If we built the system that way in the beginning, because it sets up clear boundaries of ownership, of operations, of just sort of like designing and architecting the system. Like every single group has a very singular task, and it also sets up correct social dynamics. Like if a piece of code goes wrong, then it's that team's fault. It's not some random developer who may have committed to this piece of code.
So presumably this also helps with monitoring and figuring out where the problems are if something goes wrong.
100%. So allowing us to decompose in this way means that if we see slowness in the site, if we can figure out exactly which part is going wrong, then we can fix that one. We can do a very surgical fix and fix it. So I guess the follow-on question, how do we figure out exactly what went wrong in this large system? So right now, Twitter has tens, if not hundreds of systems in production at any given time. And so every single request that comes into the data center spawns off requests to different services. We have something that was inspired by Google's Dapper that we call B3, Big Brother Bird. Everything at Twitter is a bird name. So that when a request comes into the data center and hits our front-end proxies, we can actually trace it through the entire data center. So a request comes in, we can see all the child spawn requests that came from it, all the child spawn requests that came from that, all the way down to the database memcache layers. And we can see precisely timings on every single one of those legs. You can see the number of requests, gather statistics across, every single time a home timeline comes in, we can see this is what generally the home timeline pattern looks like. So when we start seeing things that deviate from the norm, if we see a latency spike, we can compare it against a normalized version of that request and be like, look at that. there is the problem, fix that service.
Now, obviously, you can't do this with every service, with
No.
every request at the volume you guys have.
No, I mean, we get hundreds of thousands of requests a second coming just into the data center, and you can easily imagine those spawn off millions of requests a second on the inside of the data center. So we sample it very heavily. But at the same time, like if you think like maybe 85% of our traffic is people looking at their home timelines, that's a pretty decent sample size that we can look at.
Sure. Cool. Any advice for budding software engineers who want to get into the kind of work that leads to companies like Twitter doing what they're doing?
Sure. I mean, I think so. I advise many different startups, and I think what I usually say to all of them is when they come to me and say like, "I heard you guys are moving off of Ruby and Rails," I say, "No, you should stay on Ruby and Rails." Like the thing that I think that most people who are trying to start companies or are budding just software engineers is like you need to learn to hack really fast. So like finding the right tool for the right problem. So like Rails and Ruby works really well at small scale. And in those cases, like you're just learning really fast. You're trying different things out. You want to keep your what we call like feature velocity really high.
Sure.
And just be really mindful about it. Like remember that and think more than just one day out. Think a week out. Think a month out. Don't get bogged down in the quagmire of like analysis paralysis of looking 10 years out, but just be mindful of your design. Like object-oriented patterns mean a lot, and those translate really well to services-oriented architecture. So like I was saying before, if we thought about a services-oriented architecture when we started Twitter, we could have probably stayed with Ruby a bit longer. For us, there's efficiency gains and things that only show up at the scale when you're running tens of thousands of computers, hundreds of thousands of computers, that money really comes into play. But on the smaller scale, if we just thought about those type of separations first, we could have done a better job and probably stayed on the system a bit longer.
So at the risk of putting words in your mouth, anybody who starts in this field, if you're going to be successful over the course of years, you're going to be learning a lot of different tools.
100%.
And there's not going to be one language, one framework. You know, every few years you may decide that there's a better tool for the job you're trying to do.
Yes, 100%. Like always keep, like especially people who are budding software engineers, always keep your ear to the ground. Like there may always be someone who's doing something slightly different and really interesting. Like Twitter is doing this right now. So we started on Ruby, we moved to Java, or actually we moved to Scala, which runs on JVM, and now we're actually trying Clojure in production, which is Lisp that runs inside of JVM. So we're always keeping our eyes out there. Might always never have the hubris to think that you found the ultimate answer. There might always be something better out there.
So it sounds like the ability to pick up new skills and sort of put them into practice quickly is something that would make for a successful developer.
It's the responsible hacker mentality, right?
The responsible hacker.
Just be willing to try anything, but know exactly how you want to think about it and evaluate it.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Ladies and gentlemen, Raffi Krikorian from Twitter. Thanks very much. And you've been watching SaaS TV.